AM. Welcome to the Variety Hour on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Listen to you move your mouth. I bet you come from way down south. Now don't tell me, let me guess. You from the town that I love best. Talk Memphis, I wish you would. Talk Memphis, you sound so good. Talk Memphis, high on the bluff. I swear I can't get enough. Listening to you talk that stuff. Talk Memphis, oh yeah. Talk Memphis.
This is the Memphis Real Estate Hour on KWAM. And now, here's your host, Dean Harris.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Memphis Real Estate Hour. I am your host, Dean Harris. I'm with CrestCore Realty over on Summer Avenue, and I appreciate you guys tuning in this morning at AM 990 Memphis, 107.9 The Voice, or streaming the show online at www.kwam990.com. Guys, we're also on the Facebook Live, so please join us on the Facebook page, the Memphis Real Estate Hour. And not only can you watch today's show live, but I'll post this show right after it's over, and you can re-listen at your own pace. There are about 50 or so plus shows on the Memphis Real Estate Hour Facebook page. So go there, click on videos, and check out all the past shows that we've been doing, I guess for the past year or so. There's about 50 plus on there. The Memphis Real Estate Hour concentrates on investing in Memphis real estate, and we will focus on all those related topics. I'll discuss local and national investment trends, as well as give you an inside look at what it takes to become an investor here in Memphis, or what it takes to become a bigger or better investor. Remind you guys every single show that I am an investor, so if you have that home that you need to sell quickly, or you know someone that has that home they need to sell quickly, email me at dean@crestcore.com, and I'll get you a cash offer on that home today. I don't really care about the condition or where it's at, or really anything about the home. It's you could have inherited it. It could be a burnout. I mean, like, it doesn't matter to me the extreme of the condition. So just shoot me an email, dean@crestcore.com. Today I will have some investments of the week. I'll have 3 of those properties here at the bottom of the hour. About 22 minutes or so, we'll go over those. But I've got 3 really good cash-flowing properties. It looks like we're in 38127 today. So we're in Frazier, one of our more popular investment communities, and I've got 3 good occupied properties. It looks like we're about $2,100 in gross rent. So stay tuned for those at the bottom of the hour. Let's see. Last week on the show, we had Wendy Greenlaw from Chandler Reports talking about Q3 numbers and what we saw there, which there was a whole lot of new information, interesting info that she gave us as far as kind of where our investments are at and what's going on with our local market from a retail standpoint, as well as some of the investment numbers. So if you guys have any questions or you're curious about that, again, you can go back to the show's Facebook page, The Memphis Real Estate Hour, and click on videos. You can watch that show from last week. On today's show, Dan Butler and I will be talking about interest rates and inventory. Interest rates are rising, inventory is low, so now what do we do? We're gonna tackle that. Again, I'll have the investments of the week at the bottom of the hour. And let's jump right into it. Dan, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
You know, I'm doing well. We're getting into the Halloween season.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Bunch
of rain.
I got a few. Actually, my whole community is switched. We're going to trick or treat tonight.
That's what everybody's doing. It's so funny.
Thing, man. I mean, we're.
So put some rain jackets on, an umbrella, and let's go.
Just, what the kids do way back when.
Right?
We trick or treated. Our parents kicked us out and made us do it. But anyway, so we're getting ready for that. But let's dive into, let's talk about our interest rates and kind of our inventory. Our interest rates are rising. The inventory is staying low. So I guess our topic is now what? What are you seeing interest rates doing right now?
Well, it's been interesting the last couple of weeks between a few meetings that we've been to just out of town and locally with economists and, data analysts and those kind of things. And everybody's trying to, now what? Future. Yeah, what's going on? What do we do? It doesn't feel right,
Did you hear a panic tone, or was it more just like, hey, this is a change?
No panic. No, I think it was more of just from a real estate investment side. I think it's all positive in my opinion. You know, I think
only people that are panicking are the residential retail stuff, if there
Retail.
is any panic.
correct.
The way I look at this is if we have a dip or a mini crash in our home market, that's a positive thing for our investors.
Correct.
More
Yep.
foreclosures, more bankruptcies, more people that are having to get out of it for various reasons. So I'm not.
But I think interest rates are probably going to get close to 5% by year end. The 30-year Fannie Mae product, we're going to probably get closer to 6% by end of 2019 is what they're predicting. The Fed is saying they're going to raise rates by the end of the year and then several times next year. So just be prepared to know that's happening.
How do you think that'll affect investors?
I think there's going to be this weird. If I just thinking out loud, I would think that there will be a little bit of pullback.
Yeah.
And just, all right, my numbers aren't working like they were before, as far as, my return on investment and that kind of thing. And
Changed a little.
it changed a little bit, right? Your offer is going to be a little bit less because you got to pay more in interest and, on that money. So
That's what I see. Really,
are people starting to talk about that when you're
a little? I mean,
yeah.
they're talking about, hey, if the rates go up, I mean, we'll have to offer a little lower. I mean,
Yeah.
so if your max is 50, you might be at 47.
Yeah, it's not like huge.
No,
but it's
no.
several $1,000s for
Sellers
sure.
should be aware.
Correct.
I mean, it's coming. So anything that keeps rising, as we saw our prices rise here, it's going to plateau out, and then at some point they could shrink a little bit. But I'm not.
To your point, I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to see pricing plateau, especially on the investment side, and maybe even a retraction a little bit on what people are willing to pay. I mean, that's just part of
A real estate market.
As I was telling my daughter last night, everything boils down to math.
Everything.
If you think about the world,
Yeah.
I could digress in a different conversation, but I mean, everything just boils down to math. It's dollars and cents and numbers and percentages, and so people are gonna, follow what interest rates tell you what your offer should be, and so I think the other part of that is just from an investment standpoint, that's one of the things I talked a ton about as far as home ownership is. I think it's the lowest it's been since 2016. So it's,
People are renting.
People are renting more and more. The highest it got was in 2004, and I think that's back end of Clinton, going into Bush.
I believe so.
With all that people promoting home ownership, it got up to 69% nationally.
Home ownership.
Yeah, and that's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of houses, if not millions. The difference between what people rent versus what people own. Does that make
Why
sense?
do you think that is? You think people want the flexibility more, or you think there's worse credit applicants, or I mean, what do you? This is total opinion thing, but
Well, no, I mean, if you look at some of the other notes I put down, just households are growing by 1 million a year, have been since 2010, but we're only producing 885,000 units a year, and so with blight and just age of homes, there's something at certain neighborhoods, certain homes, they're just not going to exist anymore.
right.
Think about places around South Memphis or North Memphis, or there's houses that have been bulldozed that for our lifetime may never come back. So that's a housing unit. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
they're
Or a
saying
street.
that we're we're tearing down probably several 100,000 a year nationwide, and so
If you combat that with
with the-
885
and the million growth,
and the million
you're
growth,
hundreds of thousands deficit between people that need to have a place to stay and live versus what you produced out there. Does that make
all
sense?
this is great news for investors.
Oh, absolutely.
All this is, I mean, and it's not a spin. I mean, we're giving you some facts here that we're having a shortage of not just residential retail properties, but we're getting more and more tenants. So there's going to be more and more of those opportunities. You just recently visited and went to a kind of an economic conference.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. I know we're going off the cuff here a little bit, but talk a little bit about that and tell us kind of what you heard, what you learned, anything interesting.
Well, I think a lot of it, if you with the tariffs and with labor shortage and all that stuff, the actual cost of housing has gone up.
Yep.
So and it hasn't matched people's raises and people's income. That's kind of stayed flat.
Yep.
So the affordability is down almost 10%.
Wow.
So what you could buy a year ago,
You can't now.
you can't now, or you're going to spend a greater percentage of your net income, your take-home pay, for that house. So no wonder people are saying, well, maybe I'll just rent for a little while.
It's cheaper to rent.
It's cheaper to rent. Just let me rent for a while and build back up my income, through promotions and different things. And
I tell you what affects that a lot too is that down payment. I mean, there's a lot of people that could pay a mortgage, but 3.5% or 5% or some of the lowest things you can put down, sometimes I just can't do.
Yeah.
And for rental income, for rental properties, what is it? The first month rent typically,
right?
That you got to put down. So $1,000
$1,000
with a fraction of
versus 5,000 or more, right?
That's exactly right.
Well, and they're not really building. It's tough to find in Memphis in a good neighborhood. A house that's under $200,000.
Yes, that's tough.
I think. What was the average that Wendy came through last week? 189 for the whole city?
Mm-hmm.
And that's taking into account Fraser and Orange Mound and Westwood and 38109. That's taking the whole thing. And we're saying as a city now, we're over almost 200,000 average.
She said,
does that make sense?
My gosh. She said the average new construction bill was like $350.
Right.
And that's amazing.
Well, and the reason for that is lots are more expensive. Construction's gone up. And so you've got to build bigger houses for it to be worth that GC, that general contractor's time and effort and money. Does that make sense?
I'll give you an example, a new construction example. Builders used to tell me, I started a new construction, just a little background here. I spent my first 5 years in real estate and new construction. So builders would tell me, we have to sell the property, the finished product, at 5 times what we bought the lot for.
I bought 20% of
20%.
Yep.
So if the lots used to be $30,000, then they only needed to build $150,000 to $160,000 house.
Yep.
Now that they've bumped up to $50,000, now they're having to sell that in that same area in that same $250,000.
250 plus, yeah.
It's an enormous gap right there from affordability. $70,000. It's just all of it. The down payment's more, the payment's more, everything's more. So if it starts with the land, if land cost is going up on these builders and development costs are going up, that's to blame for some of these increases, I believe, in this new construction.
Yeah, and I wonder if that still holds true. We got to ask some builders next week just what's that looking like, because 20% was the kind of the industry norm, which you always heard. But if construction costs are going up, and some of the guys I spoke with in Dallas a couple weeks ago, they said that right now it's the construction costs has only affected them $2,000 or $3,000. So
really, right now,
wonder
where that's coming from the most. This is totally off.
I think it's wood and shingles. Shingles went up, $10 a square in the last couple months.
Have they really?
Yeah.
I love knowing why.
Huh? It's related. If you think about shingles, go all the way back to gas. The product that
everything
kind of the natural ingredients that go into
shingles.
Shingle production, asphalt and all that kind of stuff. So if gas is going up, anything with resin or asphalt or anything like that, those are all affected by gas pricing. So shingles, like I said, $10 a square. So now a roof that's 20 squares, that's a typical, call it 1,200 square foot house. I'm guesstimating here. But that's 20 times 10. That's $200 more a house.
Which just doesn't sound like a lot, but just in labor cost. Material cost. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So just in one fell swoop in a quarter, roofs went up $200, basically.
Which doesn't sound like a ton, but if you've got everything and all the parts of this going up a little bit, next thing you know, it's costing you $2,000 or $3,000 more to build the house.
Yeah, I think lumber. All that's getting affected with these tariffs. The tariff thing is fascinating. That's what's going to be interesting in the next 12 months. We put tariffs on China. They battle back and put tariffs on us with aerospace and different things. And so that's affecting a lot of industries like California and Florida and even Tennessee. We get affected with the medical devices.
Big time.
So, if Trump rolls out the next set, it'll be interesting to see what that does to pricing as a whole for all our products, So,
all right. So what does this mean for our investors? You've talked about this, and this is a healthy little debate we can have for the next few minutes here. Yeah. But in our notes here, build to rent. We talked about the build to rent strategy. You like it, or you don't? Personally,
I think that the more I'm in it, the more I'm more and more comfortable with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
You thought I was gonna say otherwise, didn't you?
I did.
I did a switcheroo on you.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, I think if it's in the right mix, like I'm not a big fan. We were talking to a guy the other day that's going to build a whole subdivision. Which actually, I'll tell you about this story in just a second. I think it's a brilliant idea, but a builder that's going to build a whole cove versus of rental houses. I'm not for that.
I'm not either. That's what I was about to say.
But if you're talking about building a couple houses here and there dispersed between home ownership, I think that's a great idea. You won't even know the difference.
Yeah.
Those homeowners are going to hold those tenants accountable to keep up the yard and
I agree.
not have parties all night and and I think with just it's new construction, you got 10-year warranties on about everything that you built.
Yep.
I think the affordability is tough. I think that's a hard. The prices are going up, so like you're talking $1,500 rentals. Your demographics of who can pay $1,500.
Or who want to.
I mean, we talked to a guy last week that's building rentals now that are renting for $2,000
here.
Yeah. So, but he did have a genius idea that he's working on.
Let's hear it.
He's building a whole subdivision of rentals, but he's creating an HOA with it that each rental will be, every homeowner of that rental will be required to pay into that HOA, and the HOA will cut all the yards, keep everything manicured, have rules that govern. I thought that's a pretty genius idea.
That is good. So, but that protects you some. I think. I still get worried about
home values
with a tenant. With a street full of tenants. I mean, because no matter if we're cutting the grass and keeping the outside of it good, it's still a tenant. They still don't care as much as a homeowner. I like the idea of building a one home. Because then you get all the positives and you leave the negatives, in my opinion, kind of behind. So I'm for the one-offs, maybe even two in a row or something. But the street by street build and just having a tenant being in every single one of those houses, to me, sets yourself up for a 3 to 5 year catastrophe. Especially if you're out of state, because you see it at the very beginning and it's colorful and it's awesome. But then in 3 years from now, you come back and visit this area and it's like, oh my gosh, what happened?
Well, I think it also relates to the economy. As long as the economy's doing well, you know what I mean? Like, I think that it'll probably be okay. But once the economy, recession, goes a blip for a couple of years, then you got more renters coming in there, and people have less money. They're going to care less. I mean, like, it's just going to be a domino. Lower the rents, which brings in a different class of tenant. So I could see on a recessionary period how that could get affected for sure.
So the way I look at this is we're going to buy and hold. We got a little friend that joined us this morning.
Talking about bugs in here.
Yeah,
I talked to George about that.
The way I look at it is that if I'm going to invest, I'm holding for a long time, right? I mean, the way it's a long-term game for me. I hesitate and I caution other investors on investing in something that has no history. You follow what I'm saying? I buy my rental homes in an area of town here where you yourself have been buying for 15 years. Other people that I know have been buying for 20 and 30 years in the same area, and it's producing essentially the same rental income. Where I get nervous with new construction is there's no data. There's no sample size or sample source to go to say, hey, what's going to happen? And if you're in it for 20 years, you don't know what's going to happen on a street in Cordova or wherever these guys are building these homes. So to me, from a safe perspective, and maybe that's me being too cautionary, I don't know. But from a safe and kind of reliable standpoint, to me, it's let's go where I can see history and other investors and other people that have for years been having success in those areas. That's another thing that just makes me nervous about new construction streets. I'll take a house here, new construction, that's fine. But investing where it's a build to rent, so to speak, does make me a little nervous.
No, I'm with you.
You think the housing shortage is just going to get a little worse? Just kind of going by our notes here.
Yeah, I just think it's going to keep getting worse. I mean, from a shortage, so that means which just means that it's going to be good for, people that own rentals. I think that, a bank tried to kind of gave us a trick question a couple years ago. It's like, what if, the next Bill Clinton comes in and promotes home ownership and has all these programs that now somebody that couldn't be a homeowner can now be a homeowner? And I'm like, well, it sounds like we all should sell.
Right.
And he's like, good answer.
Yeah. Right.
So, if the market, all of a sudden you bought a house that's, $60,000 and, it's getting a little bit harder to rent because there's home ownership incentives and, now that house can sell for 100, you probably should sell that house. So, but we're not there yet. I mean, I just don't think that's not on the near horizon anytime. That's gonna be a tough, somebody's gonna have to have guts, to do some of these loans that they used to do. There's gonna have to be new product. How you gonna securitize that? How you gonna sell it off? It's gonna be tough to make that happen.
How do you think this will affect our return on investment, like our numbers?
One thing that, well, I think that they're going to have a lull, and then I think they're going to go back up. I mean, and the reason I think that is, one thing where our economy, if you look at the world economy, they've already kind of slowed down.
Yep.
We're kind of in the tail where it's probably about to happen for us. You can see signs of it already, as far as our economy just slowing down. I mean, so what that means, and all that will happen because of the tax breaks and the interest rate being held low by the Fed. So that's slowed down. That's kind of put a brake on us. Kind of a double negative there, but put the brakes on us slowing down.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so as we slow down, that creates inflationary period of time, right, where prices go up and things are kind of amok. Well, the one thing I didn't think about till listening to some of these guys talk and reading a few things is that's when rents, start going up.
Yeah, that's right.
So because of cost of living. So what I've seen in Memphis specifically since 2001, rents, when, people were so worried back in 08 through 12 about rents just nosediving and, occasionally in certain pockets I'd lower $25, but
people still gonna have a place to live.
Yeah. So I never lowered my rates, and so pretty much every renewal, every turn, we're actually trying to bump up rents right now. So I think that's only going to get more and more, which is tough because what that means is, people's income is going to be consumed more for rent and mortgages and that kind of stuff.
Versus optional items.
Optional, yeah, that's right. Just discretionary type stuff.
That's right. Talking with Dan Butler with CrestCore Realty this morning. We're talking about interest rates and inventory and what do we do now. So when we come back, I'm going to take a real quick break. We're going to talk about something investors should not stop doing, all right? We got one thing that you guys do not stop doing during this time. We'll talk about it when we get back. You're listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on 107.9 The Voice.
You're listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on KWAM. We'll be right back after this.
Now, here's your Mid-South weather forecast from the News Channel 3 Severe Weather Center and Todd Demers, right here on KWAM The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Sunny, breezy, and warmer for the Mid-South today. High temperatures nearing 80, south winds picking up. We're in the mid-60s overnight, but rain is likely for your Wednesday and cooler with those lower 70s. Scattered showers will be ending on Thursday. Racquet Club proud to introduce a new wellness program, Live Well. Wellness is not a destination, it's a lifestyle. To learn more, call the Racquet Club at 901-765-4444. I'm News Channel 3's Todd Demers on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Griffin, Clift, Everton, and Mashmeyer, PLLC, is a full-service law firm with over 50 years of experience in the Memphis area. Real estate closings have continued to be the forefront of their law practice, which include residential, commercial, and development real estate transactions, drafting and negotiation of real estate contracts and leases, business information, preparation of wills, probate, and estate planning. Their firm represents a number of builders, developers, investors, and local lending institutions and is approved to close transaction for most local banks and mortgage companies. In addition, they offer title search, title examination services, and title insurance through several well-established title insurance companies in the Memphis area, as well as Tennessee and Mississippi. They strive to offer services in a prompt and timely fashion while advising and representing clients in a zealous and professional manner. Should their offered services be of need, please contact William N. Griffin Jr. or any of their attorneys at 901-752-1133. They can also be found online at www.gcemlaw.com or on Facebook.
Is it a good time to buy or refi? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Are interest rates going sky high soon? Hi, I'm Ludi Calloway, the mortgage lady at iBank Mortgage. I tell my customers to ask questions, get answers. So join me every Monday morning at 8 and I will tell you what's going on in today's still changing mortgage world. Remember, most people think about mortgages a few times in their lives. I think about them every single day. Tune in Mondays at 8.
CBS Money Watch.
A rough start to the week on Wall Street. After starting the session higher, the Dow slumped 245 points. The Nasdaq skidded 116 as the tech sector continued its October slump. The United Kingdom unveiled a new tax on big internet companies. The Treasury chief said yesterday global tech giants like Google and Facebook need to pay their fair share for public services. The digital services tax will only be paid by companies which are profitable and generate at least 500 million pounds a year in global revenue. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
To experience relief from muscle cramps and soreness, use TheraWorks Relief. This fast-acting foam is proven to prevent and relieve foot and leg cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies or TheraWorksRelief.com.
You're listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on KWAM. And now, here's your host, Dean Harris.
All right, welcome back. No, you missed us. We got investments of the week this week. Somebody took our sound box up here, so I don't have my cha-ching. So I'll just cha-ching you. So, Dan, cha-ching.
Yeah, cha-ching.
All right, 3 properties here, cash flowing up in Fraser, 38127. It's one of our hottest zip codes. You know, Wendy came in here last week, and it's still here in 38109 are still are more, I guess, popular from a transaction standpoint zip code. So get your pens ready here. So here we go. 596 Burdette, Burdette Avenue. 596 Burdette Avenue. 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. It's occupied at $650 a month. And seller's asking $44,900. That's 596 Burdette. 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. It's occupied at $650. Seller's asking $44,900. Solid property too, right there. Nice brick home. Number 2, same zip code, 38127. This one's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's 1012 Cindy Lane. 1012 Cindy Lane, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Occupied at $700. And this one's listed for $43,900, so it's a little bit better buy than that other one. But I think the rent on that 1.5 on Burdette's a little low. But 1012 Cindy Lane, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's occupied at $700 a month. Seller's asking $43,900. All right, last one here. 2333 Cliffdale Cove. 2333 Cliffdale Cove. This one's a 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath. This is a great brick home, too, all the way around brick. Occupied at $795, right at $800. Seller's asking $49,900. It's hard to beat that. It's hard to beat this one, Cliffdale, 2333 Cliffdale. 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath, occupied at $800 for under $50,000, $49,900. So, guys, at 93, let's see, it's 93. It's about 135, $40,000. You can get $2,200 in rent. I mean, you guys can do the math. That's solid returns. It's a good 3-house package right here. So if you have any questions about any one of these 3, shoot me an email, dean@crestcore.com, or you can always go to our website, www.crestcorerealty.com. That's where you'll see all of our active listings that we have right now, plus the investments of the week are on there. So I encourage you guys to visit the website today. All right, before we took a break, we were talking, Dan and I were talking about interest rates. They're going up a little bit. Our inventory's low. So now what in the world do we do, right?
Right.
It's a little bit of a market, in my mind, it's a little bit of a market correction, so to speak. I don't see, a lot of people ask me, hey, Dean, what do you see happening? What do you see it doing? I'm not getting any less calls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting any less emails.
Right.
I'm not getting any less requests for good properties. I'm not getting any fewer homes from wholesalers. That's a really good market indicator if you just want to know the truth. I'm not getting any fewer homes from those guys. I'm getting a few less investors wanting to sell.
I was just about to ask you that. I feel like that's something that's kind of shifted a little bit.
A tad. I'm getting a little.
It's like everybody that's kind of wanted to sell,
they've sold.
And it's moved.
And it's,
So
that's not everybody.
No,
There's still people that want to sell. I'm still getting calls of, hey, what can you sell these for? But I'm not getting 5 a day.
Right.
Saying, hey, what can I get rid of this for? What can I get rid of this for? So we're having a little bit of a market shift. I'm going back a little bit to buyer representation. I started it yesterday. I sent out 20 or 30 emails to buyers for houses that were there, just trying to drum up that end of it. So, and we can go back and forth. That's what I love about our team is we can, list 50 properties today if we got them, or we can shift over and rep 50 buyers today if we needed to. So we're shifting a little bit to that. So before we left, we said, investors should never stop doing what, Dan? What should they, no matter what should they not stop doing?
I mean, if you're in it for the long haul, I think you should never stop buying.
Right.
Because buying creates opportunities. Now, should your criteria change and your what you're looking at change?
Yep.
Absolutely. Should your net get bigger so you can try to find the deal that matches what you want? Yes. I just think you gotta, you hear me say this all the time, Zoo, when people are zagging and try to figure out different ways to make it happen. But I just don't think you should sit on the sideline and
no. I think you should Grant Cardone.
Wait for 10 exit. That's right. Don't wait for something big to happen or not to happen or.
Because wonder if it never goes back to where you think it should be. Then you're just sitting
lost,
here.
Yeah.
You've lost, and you're not adjusting your business. I mean, if you look at fast food companies, they're selling stuff for $1, right? I mean, they're adjusting to what people want. Walmart's and the Targets and everybody, they adjust to what the market bears and what people are, the demand, essentially. So I don't think, and a lot of people say, well, you just want to keep buying and earn commission. I was like, well, that's my business.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, adjust your numbers, adjust the way you look at a property. Maybe a different area opens up. We're experiencing this. We guys up in 38127, all that. Where are they buying now? They're
106,
106, 109. I mean, they're buying in different areas to get the same product, but they're just thinking outside the box a little bit.
Right.
It's never going to stay the same. Never. Real estate from the time I'm on 17 years now has changed dramatically.
Well, I'll give you a quick story. I was
several times too.
Talked to a mentor of mine that's now retired from this real estate business, and I thought what he said yesterday was really good. I mean, in real estate, you have swings and you have but think about what we're talking about. We're not talking. What were we talking about? $3,000 earlier. You're not talking about tens of thousands,
right?
And I was joking with him because I know he's moved his money from real estate to stock market, and he watches the market. And so I was like, man, I know my 401k took a big hit this last. I mean, the market's so volatile right now, and he's like, yeah, man, he lost probably $1 million, and in a week. But he's like, I said, so did you sell? He goes, no.
Got to get that $1 million back.
Yeah, you got to get the $1 million back. You just got to keep moving. He goes, this. His point was the stocks he's picked are still making money, have low debt. Have a good return on investment. And so when you take the emotional drama out of the market, what's going on, the stocks that are supposed to be good will still be good and still grow. And so I say all that to say on real estate, you don't have that. You're not going to lose $1 million worth of value in a week.
That's what when people ask me, put it in the market or do this, that's what I go to them and tell them.
Right.
You might not ever make $1 million in a day with this. This is a marathon and not a sprint. But I can also come to you and tell you that you're surely not losing $1 million today.
Right.
Just things that are out of your control. I mean, we can save stock market versus real estate investing a debate for another day. But that's one thing that I can tell you with investing in real estate is your initial, that huge company might have an individual make an enormous mistake, whether it's a personal one or professional one, and the stock dips 20%.
Right.
That's nothing you can do about it. Zero. Over here in real estate, you can control your destiny a little bit better by your actions, by listening to this show and doing, listening to other shows and podcasts and educate yourself. And you can kind of control that. There's still some, a fire or things that are out of your control. But if you prep for that, insurance and whatever, you can keep moving and kind of weather the storm, so to speak. So I love the debate between stock market and real estate. To me, is not even really a debate. I don't see how people do it. I don't see how you go back and forth with the ups and downs. I mean, it's like constantly watching something rise and fall. I mean, that you got zero control over. And I know a lot of guys say, hey, man, I do enough research. I can put myself in these situations, and I hear what you're saying.
Well, I think, if you think about it, both of them have emotional, swings. So stock market, your emotions get tied into what the world, economy's doing, and people just freaking out about got to sell off everything, or, on the real estate side, you've got people that, freak out about tenant issues and collections and leasing.
There's freak out on everything.
Yeah. So so you got to just, you got to get mentally strong, whichever path you choose. And I think what we're saying today is just because what we've talked about with markets slowing down, we're coming through kind of a dip in the economy, interest rates are going up, still buy. Still do what you got to do.
Adjust your numbers.
Just adjust your numbers. We were, when I first started back in 01, and I don't remember the exact years, but probably 04, 05. There's stuff that I bought at an 8% interest rate. I had 8% loans for years.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like, and you think about that, and people are like, oh my gosh, that's like a hard money, interest rates.
But you still adjusted and made it work.
I made it work. I had to buy it the right price, get my rehabs done the right way to cut that cost. And
what's the end goal?
Pay it off.
So if you have a higher rate and you can make it work and you pay it off, that's the end goal. Right. That's what I'm trying to get out to anybody and everybody that's listening. If you take anything away from this show and you follow our mentalities, which is a buy and hold for the long haul. I mean, we might have other investors that are doing something different, but the majority of our clients are buy and hold for the long haul. The goal is to pay the house off. You want that residual income for retirement or for whatever it is. So what if you got a high rate through it? If you've bought it right, then you can make it work. Something we talked about a few minutes ago. I'm talking with Dan Butler with CrestCore Realty this morning. Something we talked about just a few minutes ago was raise the rent. How do you, and a lot of investors ask me this, how do you raise a rent without scaring your tenant or upsetting your tenant? What are some of the ways? I'm sure there's not one just way, but in your opinion, what are some of the ways that you raise the rent on a tenant without
losing them,
scaring them, having to move out?
Yeah, kind of moving into this topic, I think that you got to have a plan.
Yep.
Be consistent. And stick to that plan. So that's probably the high level piece, So part of that plan is, and this is being transparent with, for the listeners. I didn't have this philosophy when I first started. My philosophy was month to month, don't disturb the tenant. It's $750, keep it at $750. You know what I mean? Like,
because you're operating on a nervous mentality.
Which, I tend to, I have to fight that. Still,
yeah.
In a lot of different ways. But, I think first of all, you just start, hey, let's try to push for annual raises, of the rent, 3 to 5%. And so we've implemented that for us, and, we're averaging probably 3%, as an average. But your whole goal is to keep the rent competitive with the market, and the tenants know. They know what the house down the street, Betty Joe down the street, 2 doors down is paying, and they know what across the street's paying. So they know, they all talk. So they know if you're trying to squeeze them too hard, and they'll push back and they'll say, well, that's too high for this neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, so part of that's just listening to them as you're going through that process. But yeah, that's where I would start. I mean, I'd start early,
Yeah, on the plan
to raise rent. Start 90 days out,
Mm-hmm.
and just get with the tenant, get with your owner, or if you're the owner, kind of look at how did this tenant do? Did they pay on time for the last 6 months? Did they have any maintenance issues do they have 2 issues in the last 9 months? Or is there like three every month? You know what I mean? And so that's going to dictate whether you give them an increase or not, because that increase could help. You might say, well, overall they're a good tenant, but you need a little extra money to help pay for those maintenance calls. So.
I've got a way to raise your rent that I'm going to give you right after we take this quick break. I talked about it yesterday. I've got a good little way that you can bump your rent up a little bit on a tenant with maybe even making them happy.
Okay.
Let's take a real quick break.
Right.
We'll be back on the Memphis Real Estate Hour, AM 990 Memphis.
You're listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on KWAM. We'll be right back after this.
Now, here's your Mid-South weather forecast from the News Channel 3 Severe Weather Center and Todd Demers, right here on KWAM The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Sunny, breezy, and warmer for the Mid-South today. High temperatures nearing 80, south winds picking up. We're in the mid-60s overnight, but rain is likely for your Wednesday and cooler with those lower 70s. Scattered showers will be ending on Thursday. Racquet Club proud to introduce a new wellness program, Live Well. Wellness is not a destination, it's a lifestyle. To learn more, call the Racquet Club at 901-765-4444. I'm News Channel 3's Todd Demers on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Griffin, Clift, Everton, and Mashmeyer, PLLC, is a full-service law firm with over 50 years of experience in the Memphis area. Real estate closings have continued to be the forefront of their law practice, which include residential, commercial, and development real estate transactions, drafting and negotiation of real estate contracts and leases, business information, preparation of wills, probate, and estate planning. Their firm represents a number of builders, developers, investors, and local lending institutions, and is approved to close transactions for most local banks and mortgage companies. In addition, they offer title search, title examination services, and title insurance through several well-established title insurance companies in the Memphis area, as well as Tennessee and Mississippi. They strive to offer services in a prompt and timely fashion while advising and representing clients in a zealous and professional manner. Should their offered services be of need, please contact William N. Griffin Jr. or any of their attorneys at 901-752-1133. They can also be found online at www.gcemlaw.com or on Facebook.
Is it a good time to buy or refi? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Are interest rates going sky high soon? Hi, I'm Ludi Calloway, the mortgage lady at iBank Mortgage. I tell my customers to ask questions, get answers. So join me every Monday morning at 8 and I will tell you what's going on in today's still changing mortgage world. Remember, most people think about mortgages a few times in their lives. I think about them every single day. Tune in Mondays at 8.
You're listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on KWAM. And now, here's your host, Dean Harris.
All right, welcome back to the Memphis Real Estate Hour. Before we left, we were talking about how to raise the rent on your tenant. Dan Butler and I were with CrestCore Realty here. I forget to remind everybody I'm sitting here with you. Dan and I were talking about how to raise the rent on a tenant without upsetting the tenant, causing them to move out. Dan's first thought was you come up with a plan, right?
Yeah.
And stick with that plan and have a reason why you're going to raise it. To me, I had this happen to me yesterday. It's going to cost you a little money, but in the long haul, it helps. The guy, the tenant requested a refrigerator in the home.
How long has it been there?
About 3 weeks. So I said to him, he said, well, should I, he's from California, like almost all my investors are. And he said, well, I guess I got to go buy, he was a little upset because he was right on the very, he paid a little bit more than what he wanted to. There were some repairs that popped up on him, which happens. And now the tenant is requesting a fridge, which I think it's a work, right? The tenants know that refrigerators aren't a standard feature here.
Right.
But they don't know,
California doesn't know that.
They don't know that. Yeah. So he asked me, what should I do? I said, well, you can go buy a refrigerator for $500, cheaper, $350. You can get some kind of refrigerator. I said, but I wouldn't do it without telling them we need a $25 rent increase. Now, it's a push for the first year. You know,
Right.
you're spending $300 or $400 to get it in there. But if you got a long-term tenant, in my opinion, that's a great way to raise the rent. You might even try for $50. So maybe you can make a little bit. So if it's a $700, hey, say, I'll get you that, you know, that fridge, but we're gonna have to raise the rent up to $750. So that's one way. And it isn't just a fridge. I mean, you could throw in other appliances. To me, I know you might think a little bit different of this, but to me, a dishwasher and a stove is a standard feature.
minimum?
A minimum.
Yeah. What's a dishwasher?
Yeah, really.
Your hands and palm olive,
Yeah.
you know, rubber gloves.
How many dishwashers do you own? 500 dishwashers.
No, I bet we don't own 5.
Because you don't put them in any, right?
Mm-mm.
So
He's like, I don't know how to answer that.
I don't. So these California investors right now are listening and going, what?
What?
Because
No
they
dishwasher?
think, I swear, they think it's dishwasher, oven, microwave, refrigerator.
The whole package, yeah.
And possibly some have even said washer, dryer.
Oh, yeah. You have to talk them out of that one.
Talk them out. I've
Yeah.
literally had to talk guys out of putting a
Yeah,
washer.
please do not spend this money.
Yeah, because all they're going to do is have repairs on it. They're going to come back and wonder why they got so much maintenance. But so bringing this all back around, you can use things like a fence. I've had people say, hey, I want a fence. Now, it gets expensive. But a fence, a fridge, a microwave, an extra air conditioning unit in the back of the house, whatever it may be, a fan, ceiling fan, stuff that aren't required for the home to be habitable, you can add in and kind of use as a negotiating tool. Now, you can't raise rent $150 on a $600 rental, but $50 for sure. And I know the first year of that is going to be a wash essentially, but if you've got, or have them sign a 2-year lease,
right?
You know, there's different ways that you can raise the rent or better your circumstances with that tenant without just totally, you know, losing your shirt. What are some of these other things, Dan? You know, we got here, fix things, don't let maintenance issues linger. What else, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's huge. You know, I think that if you look at reviews and look at feedback and, you know, tenants want their stuff fixed. And, you know, and it's a fine line between, I mean, as a property manager specifically, you know, don't spend the owner's money to fix things, but fix things so the tenant's happy and safe and habitable.
You got a constant balance because if you got a happy owner, you got an upset tenant. If you got a great tenant or a happy tenant, then your owner's upset.
Right.
So there's the medium there.
We are constantly in that you know, in that seesaw, that negotiating in the middle. You know, so that's a tough spot to be in. But if you know, I've always been the mindset. You know, you've heard me use the book QBQ, personal accountability. Just make no excuses. So I'll spend a couple $100 here and there on a tenant that wants this and that fixed, and you know, that kind of stuff. Because when the rent's due, then there's no qualms about
the rent.
You know, you know that because that's the first thing that a tenant's going to bring up if they're late is you didn't fix.
I just had one.
Yeah,
just had it.
Yeah,
they wanted an extra air conditioning unit in the back of the house, a wall unit. They hadn't paid the rent.
Yeah,
so I'm sitting here like, so now we're gonna have a contest to, you know, see who's gonna bid first.
Yeah.
To me, I went on ahead and did it because it's my home, it's my investment. The tenant is not mine.
Right.
I'm gonna protect the home and the asset first.
Right.
And if they don't pay rent, we'll get them out. But so I went on ahead and did it, and sure enough, a week later they brought the rent in.
Yeah, I had a similar conversation with a tenant last week with just the whole concept of, you know, there was, you know, say roaches in the house. So we called an exterminator, did what we needed to do, and got things addressed, but then they didn't want to pay rent. And it's like, ma'am, how do you think that stuff gets paid for? You know, like that it's.
You mean they didn't want to pay that month or something?
Because they felt they were inconvenienced and that kind of stuff. So
they want to be credited a whole month rent?
Oh, yeah. So guess what I said?
Goodbye.
I said, well, let's let y'all go ahead and move by the 31st. Let's go ahead and, you know, okay.
Sure, you don't have to pay
don't
rent.
Have to pay, but
I
need you out by the 1st. Oh, you know.
And then the rent came in.
The rent, you know, changed the tune, but it was interesting. But
talk about asking for upgrades. I'm sorry, Dan.
Yeah, and just respond quickly when they call.
Yeah.
Answer the phone, call them back really quick. Just show that service. Whether you're using a property manager, make sure that they have that kind of system in place, or that you have that capability. To answer that tenant's call. Because the last thing they want is just getting voicemails.
Yeah.
And no responses. And
yeah.
I think it's still okay to text. When somebody's calling you, then you say just text and say, hey, just let me know what you need, and you can handle your business that way. But just a response
of some kind.
So, and I'm saying all this to build up to where getting rent increases is less and less an issue, or not as hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going, letting things happen as they may during a year, and then, hey, by the way, I need $25 more this year, and like, what? Well, you didn't create any value for me. Yeah. That's how they're going to look at it. So, but you talked about upgrades earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a key. That's an easy one. Spend $300 on a fan, or a window unit, for an extra bedroom. Mm-hmm. That saves that $2,000 rent ready that you would have spent if they didn't want to stay. Mm-hmm. And to your point, try to get that 2-year lease. That's a huge deal.
Keep your process consistent. I love this one. Tenants talk, and that's the truth.
Oh yeah.
Tenants talk. They communicate with what's going on. They know management companies. If they're a career or a lifelong tenant renter, they know the management companies.
Yeah.
They know the tendencies of management companies. So if you waffle back and forth on different things, they're gonna pick that out on you.
Oh yeah.
Stay consistent, and then I like this, and I'll let you go into it, but never ever lose a great tenant. Tell me what you mean by that. You mean a great tenant to me is somebody that pays on time.
Pays on time, low maintenance. Is not. It's just not an issue. They just take care of the house, and they is a steward of that house, and so if it means foregoing a rent increase this year, at the end of the day, our team knows, it's got to be a win-win. And so if they know the market and you're kind of pushing the envelope on that market and they've been a great tenant, don't lose them. Don't get an increase just for the sake of getting an increase, I guess what I'm trying to say.
All right, so interest rates are rising. Inventory is low.
Yeah.
We ask the question now what? For us, it's, just to kind of wrap it up, it's stay consistent with your process. Continue to buy, because it's not, this might be the program going forward. This might be the conditions you're having to buy under, so don't wait on something to change. It's not in your control. Any other points from today that you want to leave us with?
No, I think, the Warren Buffett quote, is an awesome one as far as just, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Be greedy when others are fearful. So if, to me, we're getting into that, we've gone from greed and where you should be more cautious. We've talked through that to where, now people are being fearful. So it might be a time to, I've talked to so many investors that are just stockpiling cash and
ready to go
for when, the market turns. So.
I appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, go to the website, www.crestcorerealty.com, to check out the investments of the week, and also go to the show's Facebook page, The Memphis Real Estate Hour. If you missed any of today's show, I'm going to post it there here in just a few minutes. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week, next Tuesday, on the Memphis Real Estate Hour. See you then.